Alrighty, welcome back, folks. Just a quick little video here before the Fuel play tonight. Got the Greenville Swamp Rabbits in town to take on the Fuel for their only matchup between the two teams all year long. Greenville making their first regular season trip to Indy since February of 2021 when the Fuel beat them 4-0. Greenville hasn't won in Indy in the regular season since Friday, February 19th of 2021. So again, the Swamp Rabbits making their first trip to Indy in a while. I'm going to give a quick little preview of that after I give a quick rundown as to what happened on Wednesday night for the ECHL. Not an incredibly busy night for teams in the Central Division. We did only have two teams playing on Wednesday night. Iowa hosted Wichita, as well as Cincinnati played the first of their three in Utah. Unfortunately for Fuel fans, Cincinnati did come out on top, beating the Grizzlies at the Maverick Center 6-4, and then Iowa lost at home in overtime 3-2. That was Iowa's actually 13th overtime loss of the year. Still in works with that as to whether or not that's the most overtime losses by a single team in ECHL history. I know it's getting close in terms of just strictly overtime losses. There have been teams previously that have had more losses past regulation, but that was in the earlier days of the ECHL when there were a lot more shootouts that happened. But as to just what I think is going on, Newfoundland played an incredibly tough game down in Florida. It's looking like they're going to win the North Division right now. They are 10 games up on Reading. Reading with 12 games left to play. So Reading does have 2 games in hand, but the fact that Newfoundland has a 10-point lead, with just 10 games left to play, what I think the playoffs are going to look like in terms of the North Division, at least, I do think it will be Worcester and Newfoundland in the first round, and then I think it's going to be Reading and Maine in the first round as well. So the winners, of course, of those series will then play each other for the quote-unquote North Division Championship in the postseason. The South Division, just stick the top 5 teams, or basically the top 5 teams' names in a hat and draw one out. I don't think that Atlanta really has a lot going for them, unfortunately. I think they have a very, very tough schedule for the rest of the season. They do have to play Florida at least 2, if not 3 more times, I think, in Florida. So that's always a tough place to play. I know that in the South Division, again, it's kind of a just pick them in terms of what's going to happen, especially when it comes to the seeding. The fact that there's 2 points separating first through fourth right now. Greenville right now sitting at 4th place with 76 points. Florida does have a game in hand on everybody else. Jacksonville with the fewest games left to play. They only have 10 left to play. And then South Carolina and Greenville both have 11 left to play, but Florida has the most left to play with 12. But the fact that Atlanta is 6 points out of the playoffs right now with only 9 games left to play, I just really don't see the Gladiators, unfortunately, for Glads fans. I don't see them being able to step up and make the playoffs there. They play the Maine Mariners tonight. Maine looked really, really good in Orlando, but we'll see how much of that was Orlando's just that bad and how much was just Maine is really, really good. So as the standings stand right now, it would be Greenville and Jacksonville in the first round. That would be 1 versus 4. And then South Carolina and Florida would also play each other in the first round. Again, some ridiculously entertaining series as they stand right now. In the Central Division, right now, Cincinnati leading the way with 91 points. 62 games played, so they still have 10 games left to play. So does Toledo. Cincinnati continues their road trip in Utah tonight, while Toledo, goodness, Toledo will host Reading. Reading with a tough week. They have to play tonight in Toledo and then 2 more in Wheeling. But Toledo has the weekend at home, just like the Fuel do. They will play Greenville tomorrow and Saturday. So right now, as these playoffs would set up, it would be Cincinnati taking on Fort Wayne in the first round, and that's only a matter of time before the Comets clinch that 4th spot. Right now, as it stands, the Comets' magic number is still 6 for them to clinch a playoff berth. So they can do it this weekend with Fort Wayne playing Rapid City 3 times, and then with the Comets playing, the Comets are playing Rapid City, and then Wheeling is taking on, I believe it's Kalamazoo tonight. Yep, Kalamazoo tonight, and then Reading on Saturday and Sunday. So again, a chance for the Comets to clinch the playoffs this weekend. We also have, so as the playoffs would as the standings stand right now, it would be Cincinnati and Fort Wayne, and then Toledo and Indy in the first round. And then in the Mountain Division, Idaho just running away. They've already clinched the division right now. They're 38 points ahead of Wichita, who got a critical 2 points in Iowa on Wednesday night. The Thunder are looking to turn things around, but Allen, Kansas City, and Utah, as well as Rapid City. Rapid City's still right there. They're going to be playing for their playoff lives right now. They're 3 points out of the playoffs. They have 12 games left, as do most of the other teams, although Wichita only has 10 games left in the Mountain Division. But from second down to sixth in the Mountain Division, there's only 4 points separating those teams. So from second through sixth, so you're 2 through 4 for the Mountain Division. They're just like the South Division right now. You could pretty much just put all those teams in a hat and pull one out, and that's probably who's going to make the playoffs. Again, so we'll just have to see what happens when it comes to those teams. As they stand right now today, the afternoon of the 24th of March, it would be Idaho taking on Kansas City in the first round, and then Wichita would play the Allen Americans. That would definitely be some fireworks right there for any time that the Fuel are not playing in the postseason. That's who I'm going to be turning on Flow Sports to watch is Wichita and Allen. That would just be an incredibly entertaining series. But as far as just specifically what goes for the Fuel, likely to be Ryan Bednard in net tonight. That brings up a lot of bad memories for you Fuel fans that were fans and were at the game in 2021 when the Fuel were shut out. I believe were they shut out? Let me just double check that here. Yep, the Fuel were shut out at home by Ryan Bednard 2-0. That was the first time in Fuel postseason history that they were shut out at home. The only other 2 games that they played at home, they lost against the Toledo Walleye on the 18th of April in 2018, and then on the 19th of April in 2018. The Fuel lost that first game. Actually, lost the game on the 19th, 3-2 in double overtime. And then on the 18th, the Fuel lost 3-1 after Matt Thompson scored just 2:20 into the first, but the Fuel weren't able to score for the rest of the game. But again, I believe that yep, 2 of those 3 games went to double overtime before Toledo was able to come away with a victory. So again, you don't get anything extra for losing in double overtime in the postseason, but that is what happened. So that again, Fuel's most recent home postseason game, Ryan Bednar did shut out the Fuel 2-0. So again, it looks like he is going to be the one in net for the Swamp Rabbits tonight. But if that changes, just stick by both the Fuel's Twitter as well as Andrew Smith Fuel PXP on Twitter. They will have the updated stats there for you. Another quick reaction to what happened, the other news that came down. The Fuel did pick up 2 new players this week, Tyler Coburn and Nick Cardelli. Claimed Coburn off of waivers from Atlanta. And then they also picked up Nick Cardelli from the Iowa Heartlanders. Cardelli only played in 4 games for the Heartlanders. Before being released, he did score 1 goal. And then Tyler Coburn has spent most of this year with the Atlanta Gladiators. Coburn has scored 6 goals so far for the Glads this year. Across his ECHL career, he's played 120 games, 13 goals, and 13 assists. He did play, let's see, the longest stint anywhere was the 39 this year for Atlanta. He has also played with Tulsa in 2020, 2021, and then played 16 games with Kalamazoo last year as well. So it'll be interesting to see what Coburn and Cardelli bring to the plate. The Fuel also went out and brought back in Trevor Zins. That was also kind of cool to see. But the other 2 subtractions for the Fuel. Unfortunately, Spencer Watson went on IR. He will be eligible to return on the 2nd of April. And then Kirill Chaika will be eligible to return on the 27th of March. So that is this upcoming Monday. He'll be eligible to return. Not quite sure what happened with that. So if anybody knows, feel free to drop a comment down below or just send me a message, and I will let you folks know as well. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to what the Fuel have to offer tonight. Thanks for watching, folks.